Hi, it's Mike the Helio Gut Guy. Watch this video and I'm going to share with you everything Mario did, one of my students, to completely get rid of his ulcerative colitis and his constipation. And this was after years of boring diets and doing all sorts of drugs and crazy remedies. With using German new medicine, he can now eat whatever he wants and his symptoms are completely gone. So here's a clip of his testimonial to kind of let him explain his results. So watch this, and then we'll get into the details on what he did.
One of my doctors told me, "Hey, so I remember you. So you came in here last year, telling me you had a bleeding and you had a, like ulcerative colitis and stuff. How are you about that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's gone. I used to have a lot of issues, a lot of emotional
Mm-hmm.
issues. So those issues, I mean, those physical issues were the reflection of my being. I was like, if I wasn't feeling supported, back pain. I wasn't performing that well, knee pain, and blood on my stools, some conflict with my family, some fights and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the way I perceive things. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's definitely not food because as I'm telling you, I'm eating a lot of gluten, and I used to restrict
Yeah.
gluten.
You were
I'm
growing
eating
your own
a lot of
crops. I
raw.
mean, that's hardcore. Like, I never, I never did that. That's great.
Yes,
That's awesome.
yes. So when I believed about GNM and I started to go full on GNM, I started to eat gluten again.
Mm-hmm.
I started to like drink a couple beers when I'm there, like one beer a week.
One beer a
And
week.
yeah, and then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I need to quit all the organic stuff and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna eat as healthy as I can,
Mm-hmm.
but not worrying about too much about
Mm-hmm.
the organic stuff. So I started to like having a hamburger and stuff,
Yeah.
at the same time I was having symptoms. I was seeing blood,
Mm-hmm.
but the blood lasted only about 6 weeks. And right now I'm eating a lot of gluten. I'm eating
Nice.
a lot of gluten. Yes, I'm cooking pizzas. I'm cooking some of the my favorite recipes in Mexico, some of the bread they sell in Mexico. I know how to
Yeah,
cook it. I like
Mexico
it.
and like southern, the South American culture, like rice and beans is like the staple. And in the health community nowadays, like those foods are like so demonized. It's just like your people have been eating those foods forever, why all of a sudden is it? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I eat a lot of like lard on pork. I
Lard.
was scared
Nice.
about that in the past. I don't need hydrogenated oils
Mm-hmm.
still.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but here and there sometimes just eat fast food, but it's not a big issue. I feel happy and I feel happy and then my investment I
Mm-hmm.
think that the investment in joining your group
Thank you.
it's it's been worth it. I mean,
Cool. Thank you.
it's
Yeah.
been really worth it because I spent a lot of money in Mexico, on my surgery, on my treatments and stuff, on
Uh,
buying everything organic and stuff.
All right, guys. So that whole testimonial is like an hour long, and a lot of the time I'm like fishing for information. So I want to get you like what he did. The best tips and tricks of what he did to get better, to get those best results as fast as possible. Using here. So right here in my hand, I got a summary of the things that he did. So for the longest time, he blamed food and infection and all sorts of things for his gut issues. But when he started looking at it from a German new medicine perspective, it became very evident what was causing the problem. So in 2017, he had a few different stressful things happen. He got into a business deal with one of his family members, and things were not going well. He was managing 20 people with like zero experience, so there was a lot of stress going on there. His uncle passed away. That was very stressful. He was very close with his uncle, but we think what his conflict shock, that stressful thing that caught him off guard, that made him conflict active, was a fight with his aunt. And this was like a really nasty, dirty fight, and I believe to this day she still will not talk to him, but he came to peace with the situation. So for like a long time, he and his aunt were fighting like cats and dogs, and he just could not digest her behavior, and he didn't understand it, he could not digest it, he could not accept it. And during this time, his body was building extra gut cells to help him digest and absorb this stressful situation. And he remembers, you're going through everyday normal life. This is your autonomic nervous system, your sympathetic, your fight or flight, and then your rest and digest at night. But when he became conflict active with his aunt, he experienced symptoms like insomnia, constipation, bloating. Constipation is something hard to digest in our life, isn't moving forward. It could have been with his business, or it could have been with his aunt. I have so much thing to do with my business, and we're not making money, I don't know what to do. This hard to digest thing, the money, this success, it isn't moving forward in our life. I've tried so many things to try to make peace with my aunt, but nothing is working. She just gets more upset. This hard to digest thing isn't moving forward in my life. And the way that you figure it out, whether it's with your business or with your aunt, is like you see like what things are making you emotional. Some people, you get in a fight with your aunt, you're like, I don't care. I never talked to her anyway. Like whatever. Like business people, that's a difference. It depends on how a person experiences the conflict. So it could have been one of these things. So these things kind of got resolved around the same time, but he remembers when these things got resolved, he got out of the business venture. He just said like, look, I did all that I could for my aunt. I give up. She doesn't, it's on her now. The ball's in her court now. I'm not stressing out about this anymore. He resolved the conflict, and then the body has to get rid of these extra gut cells. And so with the help of bacteria and fungi, the body starts to get rid of these extra gut cells. And so when you're removing physical flesh from the body, you're going to have pain, diarrhea, blood, mucus, these sorts of symptoms. And so this will last, this first part of the healing phase where we're getting rid of these extra gut cells, it could last for a couple days, a couple weeks, a few months. It all depends on how intense and long, these conflicts were. But the reason why some of us get stuck in the healing phase for a very long time is we start to blame food. Food, I can't digest this food. Oh, so my doctor said I couldn't eat gluten. I can't digest this. And it literally becomes its own separate special program here. Like, so for example, Mario here, he had it going on for his business. He could have, I don't know 100% for sure, but it was at least one of these things. So he had one program running for his business, all on the colon, his poor colon. He had another one with his fight with his aunt. And then he had multiple, I can't digest this or that food. So he probably had like for each food he perceived as indigestible. I can't digest this. This food isn't good for me. This food isn't safe. So he probably would have had like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these things running all at the same time. They can really stack on when you get into the holistic movement and you start blaming tap water and all sorts of things for your digestive issues, even though everyone else is eating these things and they don't have these symptoms. And so he did get some relief for a while. So but before I get more into his story, I want you to understand how this program runs out. So we get rid of these extra gut cells, and let's say we don't have any tracks that are pulling us back into the conflict active phase. Let's say you get in a fight with your aunt again. Me and my aunt are friends again, and then the next day she's like, you know what? I don't forgive you anymore. You go back into the conflict active phase. Let's say the business is over and then your partner comes to you a few months later and he says, hey, you still owe me money. Reactivate the conflict. I can't digest this food. And then, every time you see gluten, like it just, boom, it just goes on in the cycle that never ends. It never ends. But let's say you avoid all these tracks, you resolve all your tracks, and we remove those extra gut cells we no longer need. So those gut cells, while they're healing, edema, water flows into those tissues to aid with the healing process, and we need to remove that water when it's done healing. And then this is when we kind of get the bad flares that can send somebody to the hospital. You get fevers. This is nights. You can also have night sweats here, but fevers and headaches and stuff like that. That's what happens here. But essentially, you're becoming your tissues are becoming sympathetic, constricting the blood vessels, and it's pushing the water out of the tissues. And then once that's done, this could last a few days, and then you go into the second part of the healing phase, which we call the scarification phase, and it's smooth sailing from here. Smooth sailing after the epicrisis, after a flare-up. But what normally happens is someone gets a flare-up, and they're like, wow, I'm really sick. I did this too, and then they start creating a bunch of food tracks for themselves. That's why people don't get better, and that's exactly what he did. He didn't know German New Medicine at this time, so when he was in the healing phase and went through all this, he just got more and more strict with his diet. And then 2020 rolls around, and he did kind of like this real estate house flipping thing with one of his relatives, and it was very stressful. And he was also angry in other areas of his life. He had a lot of indigestible anger in his life. But in early 2021, late 2020, he discovered German New Medicine, and he started to identify the things that were making him emotional, and he started coming to peace with these things. He is a Christian, and Jesus is the King of Peace. So he was able to become more patient with his relatives in this house flip. It's a very stressful situation where a lot of things can go wrong and you can lose a lot of money. But when he started feeling this way and started feeling anxious, he was reassured by his faith in Jesus that Jesus was going to take care of him no matter what happened. And it brought him this inner peace that didn't keep reacting the special program. So when this house flip ended, this house flip was a whole new program. So he became conflict active, and then it got resolved, and then as all of his symptoms started back up again, and he started to try a whole bunch of holistic things, and then he found out about German New Medicine, and he was like, wow, I see this. I see how this all comes together. And right here, he stopped. He said, I can tolerate all foods. And this healing phase for him, it probably lasted about 2 months, but every week his symptoms got less and less and less and less. He had his epicrisis, he had a fever, and he had a headache for a couple of days. And then he came into the healing phase, and he can eat, from here on, he was eating whatever he wanted. His symptoms got less and less, and he eats whatever he wants, and like it never happened now. It's that simple. Like literally all we need to do is sit back, relax, don't blame food, tell ourselves all food is safe, understand our symptoms, and support the healing phase with lots of protein. And sometimes you might need to go to the doctor to get blood transfusions and stuff like that, if you're losing a lot of blood in the healing phase. But for the vast majority of you, all you need to do is identify tracks. This is the root cause here. Root cause. You need to identify the tracks. You have to identify them. And then you need to come to peace with these things that make you emotional. Go walk around the whole day with a piece of paper and just write down stuff that makes you emotional. And then come to peace on them. Work to coming to peace with them. It will take you a while. I've been doing German New Medicine for like 1.5 years now. I'm still identifying and neutralizing tracks, even though my symptoms are very, very, very minor. And then when you get healing symptoms, understand what your symptoms are telling you from a German New Medicine perspective. So if you get diarrhea or blood or mucus in your stool, like if you look at it from a modern medicine perspective, you're going to freak out, even a holistic perspective. But from a German new medicine perspective, you celebrate that. You go, great, I resolved something emotional in my life. I wonder what it was. All food is safe. That's like all you need to do. And then the next thing you need to do is reconvince yourself that all food is safe. And that's pretty easy to do once you understand German new medicine and you understand the root cause is an emotional root cause. So guys, that's all I have for you. This student, Mario, he actually, he was one of the students that bought my program. And yeah, so he was able to attend live Q&As twice a week and ask me and my coaches any questions that he wanted while he was going through this. We have a Facebook group where you can post your questions in there, and me and my team will answer all of your questions. We have over 20 hours of videos in there. I have over 100 hours of live Q&A recordings where I tell my students exactly what to do to get better. I have a protocol workbook where I have written down everything that you need to do. I mean, I just have this program packed with value, tons of value, and it's only $4.97. If you go look at my competitors, and I can't even call them competitors because I'm sorry, they're a joke. They don't even address the root cause of the problem. How do you expect yourself to get better if you don't address the root cause of the problem? I get so many emails every single day saying like, I've tried every drug, I've tried every diet, I'm at wit's end. Please tell me what to do to get better. I send them these videos, address the root cause, and they get better. I mean, he was doing so much. He was trying. Mario, he literally lived on a farm in Mexico for a while, just to eat farm fresh food for a month to see what it would do. You can eat normal foods again. You can get a normal life again, but you have to address the root cause. This is going to help you out with your other gut health issues, and it also comes with a 3-month action-based money-back guarantee. So if you use the program, you come to the live Q&As, you ask questions in the Facebook group, and you watch the videos, and you don't get better, we'll give you your money back. And a lot of this money goes towards advertisements, so I can get in front of, my goal is to heal as many people as possible from gut issues. No one should have to suffer from gut issues, and most of my revenue goes back into ads so I can reach as many people as possible, guys. I'm trying to help everyone pay it forward, but yeah, guys, you can get better. I can help you get better through the Rapid Gut Healing Program. It's $4.97. If you go anywhere else, you're going to pay at least $1,000, and you're going to pay thousands of dollars in supplements and remedies that are failures. My program works with no diets, minimal supplements, and minimal effort. Like literally, you can sit on the couch with a journal and figure out most of this stuff. And my free content, the free boot camp that I have, if you haven't enrolled in that, go down below and enroll in that. You know, my free content on YouTube, I get so many testimonials just from my free content on YouTube. It works because it addresses the root cause of the problem. Other programs don't work because it does not address the root cause of the problem, guys. I want to save you time, money, and pain by getting to the root cause of the problem. Don't be tricked. Don't be fooled by the holistic and modern community where they think you got to be on drugs, you got to be on supplements and boring, bland diets. There's a reason why your friends and family don't have gut issues and you do. It is a very specific emotional problem. Your subconscious experienced this stressful thing in your life is, I can't digest this. Okay? And so I'm going to help in my program and my free YouTube. But if you really want help get better fast, sign up for the Rapid Gut Healing Program. It will save you literally thousands of dollars in trial and error. I spent $10,000. I spent $100,000, probably more than that now. I've seen other students spend $200,000. It is easy to get better and cheap to get better, very affordable to get better when you actually address the root cause of the problem. So guys, good luck healing, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.